collectors and Transformer fans, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Target exclusive Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Leadfoot. For the package, much like all the Studio Series figures, you got that really nice Transformer text with the Generation logo. Of course, you got the open window that fully showcases the figure and gives your first hint as to why this is a Target exclusive, because they got the Target logo on them. Now, I don't know if they're going to release this at other stores without the logo. All I know is right now, I could only find him at Target. I don't know where he is available throughout the world or anything of that nature. I'm just talking here in North America because that's where I'm at. Of course, you got that really cool CGI image of him. It's kind of annoying that they got like number 42 there and they couldn't put that on the toy. Why not? I don't get that whatsoever. As you can see, he is from the Transformers Dark of the Moon film. The side here has an up-close image of his ugly face. Come around to the other side, you got a more pulled-back image of his ugly everything. He was a chubby dude. Come around to the back of the package. You can see that he transforms in 18 steps. You got images of him in his robot as well as his vehicle mode. And his little accessory, that being his little pet Steeljaw, which we never saw in the film, but concept art had that with them at all times, so I guess that kind of makes sense. You can see he is an officially licensed product by GM and, of course, NASCAR, which means he probably has like a NASCAR logo somewhere in there. It looks like he's got number 42 right there. Why couldn't you put it there? That's annoying. Obviously, big screen inspired, all that stuff goes out the window because they gave us a backdrop, but they couldn't give us the actual, like, paint detail on him. I don't know. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Leadfoot open up out of his packaging and obviously in his weaponized NASCAR mode. And I'm actually fairly happy with this. There are a couple minor gripes that I have, but when you compare it to that previous Dark of the Moon Deluxe one that we got, which you'll see later on, I think the minor issues with this figure can be easily forgiven. Now, starting off first with his accessories, he does come with Steeljaw. Now, this is a strange one, I think. I mean, he had it in the CGI images, or concept art, I should say. Apparently, he transformed into his engine, but we never got him in the movie. So for them to actually go that extra step to give him this as an accessory is kind of weird, I guess. I mean, this is supposed to be, you know, big screen inspired, all that kind of stuff. This wasn't in the movie. It's not that it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I really like it. Just feels like a strange accessory to include. Overall, the sculpt on here is fantastic. You can see a lot of really nice molded in detail. I love the face on him. That looks really cool. You got some silver paint here for these little exhaust pieces. He's not articulated anywhere, which that's unfortunate. I wish they put at least like some hinges here for the legs. That would have been nice. And then, unfortunately, there is nowhere that you can store this in the vehicle mode. He just sits there. As I said, theoretically, he transformed into the engine, so, I mean, you can have him stand, not even there. Whatever. I mean, it's a nice accessory. He's just gonna, like, run alongside him, but there's that. He comes with all of his weapons, as you can see. They all plug in very loosely. This one is a peg, so that's in there very well. These ones are pretty decently tabbed in when you get it lined up properly. There are two separate slots on the back, which you'll see. One's used for vehicle mode, the other slot is used for the robot mode. And they tab in fairly decently. These ones here are a little bit loose, but they're in there, but they'll more than likely get knocked off at some point in time. I don't really understand it. I feel like the friction tab is not very good. Like the size is either too big for the hole or too small for the tab. Either way, they sit there and they don't like fall off. You have to hit them for them to fall off, but I feel like it could have been done a little bit better. The overall detail on this, though, is fantastic. The coloring on here looks really good. Obviously, he's missing a lot of sponsorship logos. He does have the number 42. This is one thing that I'm kind of annoyed with. He does have the number 42 right here. Now, this is a fake door section. That's eventually, well, theoretically going to become his chest piece in his robot mode. But this is a fake one. The original Dark of the Moon one actually utilized this piece to become part of his chest, so that was definitely an improvement on that other older toy. But what's kind of silly is they got the 42 painted there, and then you'll see it here later on. They don't have that painted on his chest, which is annoying. It does have the NASCAR logo. It doesn't have any other branding or anything like that, other than the obvious Target one, which that one I also have a slight problem with, because this whole section right here should be red. Why they couldn't use a red piece of plastic or at least paint this, I have no idea. I mean, there's a lot of other red paint kind of put on here. Like, there's some red paint back here. I don't know why they couldn't have done that. And then because of that, this is too small. That should be up a little bit higher, and there should be extra little ones on the outer section. That's kind of annoying. He does have the Impala logo, so it is an officially licensed Chevy vehicle for the most part. You can see that it says Wreckers or Ultra Wrecker, I guess, on there. I mean, it doesn't have the Goodyear tire or anything, so it's definitely lacking in that respect. Now, bringing in the original one, again, all of mine have had Repro Labels stickers applied to it. So every little thing on here that you see has been covered up with a sticker. It's absolutely gorgeous, to be totally honest with you. But ultimately, I do think that this is a better figure. Detail-wise here is fairly similar. I mean, I like the darker color of the thrusters here, but there's a really nice amount of molded in detail. It's different, but both have some nice molded in detail. This is probably a little bit more accurate looking. You look at the side, and like I said, this section right here, that is a sticker. Don't get fooled by that. But at least this will transform, and you can see, like, that's going to come around, and it's going to cover up here. I mean, here's his face and everything. That comes down and acts as the doors to these windows. So at least it had that going on for it. But you can see that the overall look is pretty similar. The only thing that I think that this one does a better job of in terms of the aesthetic and look would be that they have a full red section here for the hood. This just makes it look a lot smaller. Like I said, I have no idea why they couldn't have done this in a red plastic. Weapons are very similar. The guns are a little bit smaller, which I like. These ones actually kind of look like they're coming out of the window, whereas this, they're positioned here at the top, and then you kind of have the bullet section coming down in the window, kind of like this. But I almost like how that's a little bit more open and exposed. The missiles here on the front, these are a little bit smaller. They were fairly large, but I want to say like these are a little bit better of a size. And then the gun at the top, I feel like this is a better representation of the gun. It was a little bit bigger, I think. Overall, though, I mean, there really isn't much. I mean, they're about the same size. You see, this one is a little bit shorter, but it really, in terms of that overall aesthetic, there really isn't much different. I mean, they pretty much got it both ways. I wanted, if they released this, I wouldn't have been upset with it. I mean, I never was upset with it. For a comparison, obviously, here is the new Studio Series Top Spin alongside Roadbuster. So here we have all three of the Wreckers and him. And these look good together. They really, really do. Now, granted, this is not the one that I'm keeping in my collection. But because that's the one that's out right now, that's the one I'm going to use for the comparison here. These look great. I feel like I've said it before, but universally, most people really like the Wreckers. They complain about everything else, like the twins and everything, but they're okay with the Wreckers. So, I don't know. But, like I said, really nice. I am happy with it. I feel like there's enough gapping in there somewhere where you could probably figure out a way to put this. I don't know. It is what it is. Now, for transformation, it's going to be a little bit easier to take off these weapons. So go ahead and remove these. They're going to go in different spots and everything in robot mode anyhow. I mean, this one, you could kind of leave that on there, but you can see there's his unweaponized version. So first, come around here to the side. You want to sort of wiggle this out. And this tabs in really securely along the side. So get that and then lift that. There we go. Pull that out just like that, and that's going to kind of hinge out like so. You can take these hands, you can fold these out like that, come around here to the feet, you can split these, separate all this kind of stuff here in the back. You can hinge that forward. Now this is up to personal preference, really. You just fold this down here, but you really want to extend it as much as you can and then fold that down. But he was a stubby little guy, so you could leave that a little bit lower if you really want. It's a matter of personal preference, but you got these bits right here that you're going to extend this up like that, which does make him even more stubby. So I would definitely use that and then make sure that you fully extend those legs. Again, it's personal preference. You can do what you want with it, but come around here to the top section, take this whole bit here is going to come up. You can take this and fold this down and tuck that under like that. Come around here to this. Now this part here is a little bit tricky. You may have to make sure that you lift this up and then you can rotate this around. When you do that, you can then take these and fold that out. Now this is what I was talking about. Like you have fake doors right here. So you got that and then you got that. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, the original one did a better job of that transformation, I feel. Then you want to take this and bring this back. Now, oh wait, sorry, hold on. Make sure you extend the head all the way up. Now this part here sucks. On the back here, you have little, I don't want to even call them squares. They're like weirdly shaped squares. So that has to tab into these little posts right here. It is almost impossible to get that lined up properly and get them to securely fasten in there. You can do it if you're very patient. Oh, patience there. But it doesn't even stay in very good. So, I don't know. I definitely don't like that at all. Rotate this around, but the problem is, like, if you don't lock them in, then they don't really sit there. Now, you can, like, tuck them in a little bit more. It just, it is frustrating to me that doesn't lock in. Otherwise, you just kind of let them rest right there. But, and when you push them in, they want to move. It's not good. I like keeping this up a little bit more. It gives him a little bit more of that belly look. And yeah, you rotate that, and like I said, it doesn't lock it in, and that's the worst aspect about this. There, all right, that one's in. See if I can really get that one. All right, that one is in. No, that's not. But see, then it like dislodges this, and you move it, and that doesn't securely fasten. So, like, that's in, but if you're going to move it around, it's just going to pop out. So, realistically, you're just going to have to leave it like that. And that kind of sucks. Did I have all this compressed right? I wish that there was something that you could do for... I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah, these need to... I guess that just sits right there. I wish there was a way that you could take these tires and make them come down to fill out more of his belly, because actually these tires should be on the bottom for movie accuracy. But when you're done, there you have Leadfoot in his robot mode. Infinitely easier to transform than this guy, but like I said, the negative part about this not really locking in very securely takes away from how good the figure really could be, whereas this one, it's a pain in the butt to transform. But, you know, there you go. And despite the fact that there are aspects that I don't like on him, I actually think that this is a better figure than that previous one. It's not that that previous one is bad, but I think that they did a better job overall with the robot mode's look. Now, let's do the comparison right away. Obviously, here's Steeljaw. This is the previous one. This has been in my collection ever since the days of Dark of the Moon. Now, like I said, these are stickers, but at least they got this to come around. That's one part that I'm not a big fan of. I don't like how they weren't able to incorporate that. You know, I've never had a problem with, like, faux things. You know, fake chests, fake windows, whatever the case may be. But I feel like they were able to do it here years ago. I think that they could have figured out something with this. I also kind of like how the tires here can come underneath to kind of fill that out. I wish that this could have had that as well. I mean, as it is, it's a big, chunky thing, but it's literally like his entire front part of the car. And I mean, I like keeping this a little bit up just, again, to kind of make him look a little bit more chunky. But the entire front of his car makes up his belly. At least this, it looks like it transforms. Granted, it's definitely gappy. You can see like all the hollowness and everything there. His backpack is also considerably larger. They did a better job of flattening that. There's a lot more going on with this guy. I do like this silver here in his head, but again, more movie accurate wise is this darker color. And they do have some nice silver details like in his beard and everything kind of picked out, which do look good. His arms are a little bit less bulky. I mean, that front section's right there. I mean, that's still there, but it's a little bit smaller, obviously. I like the darker color just in general. And then you can see that he is a little bit shorter, so again, it works in terms of the overall squat nature. Now, the part that I don't like, you can put the different weapons on him. These are supposed to come around here and tab in on the side. This one I can kind of get decently enough. But, oh no, that's the other side, sorry. These are terrible at tabbing in, though. And, let's see. That, yeah. See, they're supposed to go up there, and I can't ever get them. The other guns go here on the side, and then obviously here on his shoulder. This, I have no idea what I'm going to do with these things. They can't really tab into these back ones because they're too small, so I haven't quite decided what to do with those. You know, at least with this one, you know, the weapon's stored a little bit better, but, you know, it is what it is. But the real comparison here is how does he look with the rest of the wreckers? Here we have Roadbuster, and here we have Top Spin. Again, I think that Top Spin is too short, but all of these, I think, look really good together. I like the fact that he is more squat. Now, you can, like I said, you can angle this at his knee. I don't really like doing that a little bit more, but I mean, you can definitely get him a little bit more squat looking. Actually, that doesn't look all that bad. But I mean, let's see, because he's not going to stay in my collection. So I mean, he's shorter than him. Okay, all right, and then let's take a look at the original Top Spin. Yeah, see, I think that looks better, honestly. Maybe we can bend these a little. Play with these a little bit. I mean, all the Bayformers had a bit of a chicken leg sort of thing going on there. So yeah, that's not terrible. I don't think that it's one way or the other. It's personal preference. I mean, he's still always going to have a knee joint right there. So I guess it's personal preference. But I do like him being short and fat. I mean, that looks cool. I mean, he definitely is taller. But overall, I mean, I think the size is really pretty good on him. And it gives you options so you can do different things. If you wanted to straighten his legs out here, you could also do that. But I don't want to do that. Like I said, I like him stubby and fat. I don't know. It's a fun look. First articulation in this mode, the head is on a ball joint. So I think it's a ball joint. Are you a ball joint? Yeah, it's a little bit of a ball joint. So you get a little bit of rotation side to side, some up and down. Nothing here locks in, though, like I said. That's really very unfortunate, keeping all that locked in. That's really unfortunate that I can't get these to tab in. And I've watched other people do reviews of this, and they say, oh, yeah, you tab it in there. But then they move the arm, and you can completely see that it dislodges. So it doesn't tab in. So, I mean, you can kind of wedge it back a little bit, and that kind of helps with that. So when you're moving the arms around, I just feel like it should be a little bit more flared out, like that. That looks a little bit better. And I also really don't like the fact that they couldn't have put paint detail on there. I mean, ultimately, I think that repro labels will do something to fix a lot of these guys, and I'll probably get those sets because I liked how they looked on the original ones, and I think they'll look good on these ones as well. So you do have that articulation there. The shoulders here are on ball joints, so good range of motion. You have a swivel at the upper part of the bicep. You got a hinge here at the elbow. The wrists, I guess you could kind of say, move in as part of the transformation. You can drop them like that. There is nothing at the waist. That's all locked in, unfortunately. Again, I don't know why they couldn't have figured out that, but, you know, it is what it is. Ball joints At the hips, you have a rotation right above the knee, and then depending, again, on how you angle this, you could have two knees, basically. You can have a lower one and an upper one. It's your personal preference on how you want to do it, and I guess you could kind of say his toes can move forward and back a little bit. But that's pretty much it. I really do like this guy. I think that he is an improvement over that original one. So it's good to see that this is an improvement. The top spin one really kind of let me down. Well, Roadbuster, but I got rid of that Roadbuster one because that just didn't look like a wrecker. It was just done to look like a NASCAR. I heard rumor that was also used as a cross-sell at like NASCAR events. So maybe that's why they went with that. Who knows? But overall, I do like him. I think he is a marked improvement over that original. So if you never got that original one, now you have a really good chance. Granted, still he's a Target exclusive, which everybody knows that'll probably make him difficult to find, especially with scalpers. But overall, he is a considerably better looking figure. Now, transformation back, we're going to set him off to the side. You want to make sure that you take all of his little weapons off. Just makes it a little bit easier to do everything. You can detach this if it wasn't already detached. Push this section forward, then take the head and rotate that back, and then take this section and then just collapse that around. You need to make sure that this is extended out so that you can rotate this piece around. And this is what I was talking about. I really don't understand. I mean, all of this is kind of one piece, I guess. So I suppose they could have done a separate piece of plastic right there, although it is all molded. Oh no, that's a separate piece. That's an entirely separate piece. So I don't know why they couldn't have done this section, and you can see that it's moving right there. So why they couldn't have molded that in a red plastic, I have no idea. But that's really unfortunate that they skipped out on that. You can go ahead, tuck that, then come around here. You want to pull all this away. Let's take these feet. We're going to just basically flatten those, just like that, and then bring these down like there we go. Come around here, and then this section will come out. This is going to come all the way down, so make sure that you bring this flat along the back and push that in there and push that in on the side, and then you can bring the two middle sections together, hold that like that, take these, tuck those down and in like so. You can take this whole front section here, you can rotate this around, that'll clip down into place, rotate this, and then this whole bit's going to rotate towards the underside here, and then rotate this around. When you do that, you got this piece here, which is, it's really tricky to get this in, but bring that in and lock that in right there. Squeeze everything up and in place. Do that on this side as well. Rotate this around. You can swivel that down and then rotate that down and in. Keep this up here and then squeeze everything. There you have them. Then you can armor him up again. These little this one goes right here on the top section. This you're gonna put right here. This you'll put right meow. This you want to make sure that the the missiles are like that, so that you can tab that in, but it tabs in very precariously and it's tricky to do. Give that a good push. But when you're done, there you have Leadfoot. And I didn't even touch that, but I did say that I was going to knock something loose. Give that a squeeze. But there you... Oh, well, what are you going to do? But there you have him back in his vehicle mode. But ultimately, I think that this is a great figure. Enough that it has replaced my original Dark of the Moon in my display. One thing that I have noticed, though, in plugging these into his robot mode, this one has now been completely warped because of it, and it won't stay in. This one is not bad, but you could remember, or if you remember all the way back at the beginning part of the video, I was shaking these and it was perfectly tabbed in. Now now it just sits there. That's really crappy. So definitely unfortunate if you ask me. But like I said, I do like him enough that I replaced that original, and that's honestly how I gauge a lot of these Studio Series figures. The Topspin one wasn't good enough to replace my original. Roadbuster and Leadfoot are. There are aspects of them that I do wish were done a little bit differently. Like, I really don't understand why they couldn't have given this a red plastic, because it is a separate piece from his neck section. Also, I wish there was a way that they could have put at least the 42 on the chest, because you have it there. Why couldn't you do it in his robot mode? That seems silly. I feel like that's something that Repro Labels will be able to fix, though. Transformation is fairly simple, except when you need to try to tab that. That is kind of a pain in the butt, but even though it is simple, it results in a robot mode that looks really very good, which is, for me, the biggest selling point. The vehicles between this and the original one are pretty even. It's that robot mode that I think is superior. Plus, the transformation on this one, well, yeah, it's simpler. It's more fun to do. That other one is not fun. So based on just like those two things, I would absolutely recommend this guy. As I said in the beginning, he is a Target exclusive because they got the Target logo on there. So if you're looking for him, good luck and happy hunting. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.